This is driven and owned predominantly by men, really, who are set to take advantage, really. And when you see case after case of males, and an allegation is made about their behaviour, their conduct, and it actually gets past the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, it gets to courts, and they're just given a few months of nonsense and a slap wrist for having all that child material or doing this, that, and the other. Yes, again, by a system that is predominantly moved by men. So obviously, men aren't going to kick up a stink. There's a reason why this is not connecting with men, because too many men silently, and I don't care who says what, and some know I come from quite a male heavy, not dominated, but male heavy family. This is male thinking, really. This is the stuff they don't mention. Who's down here? Approve. I don't know the other one. I'm going to check you out because I've never seen you cape somebody or other. So I'm going to do that. In the meantime, please go ahead. Domestic tea. Well, I'll check the other one. Thank you.
Thanks, Jane.
Real quick, forgive me. Cape is fine. I know Cape.
All right.
Okay, one sec. If I get junk in the thing, I'm coming after you, Jasmine. Okay? Okay, sorry, domestic tea.
That's fine.
Oh, flip. Oh, what you were just saying, Jane, about it just being men. You weren't saying it like that. You were much more articulate. But yes, the point is, it is part of a men's movement, and and I do think that the class system is part of moving it along. But what I was going to say is, what you were talking about was the mindset of men, and many men who seem complacent or apathetic to what's going on. Because yes, they will benefit socially in the long run in men's, and from their perspective, from the perverse perspective of a male. Yes, they will, if women would just be quiet, and this movement could gain further ground. So what I was going to say is, so when I hear voices of men in the movement, GC men or whatever, whether it's in spaces, but I mean, it's only in spaces and on Twitter, really, in the real world. Yes, the men I speak to are against it, but they're not involved in the conversation, if you know what I mean. But do you know what it sounds like to me? Bloody gaslighting. These rascals. I don't believe a blimmin' word of it. Sorry, that's all.
When you say gaslighting, do you mean lip service? Sorry, because I've never understood the word.
No, even worse than just lip service. Absolute mockery, to be perfectly honest, because they know that they can benefit, and that they will, and it doesn't matter which bloke it is, that they all, none of them are like us, are they? None of them are the same as women. They're all, bless them, quite sexual creatures, in whichever way, various ways, who knows, from the most basic to the most outrageous. But I just feel as it's like, dining with thine enemy, isn't it? It's just ridiculous to believe a word of anything the men say when they're like, oh, we're on your side. Yes, you deserve privacy. They'll soon take advantage of it when they're able,
To an extent, yes. I like to hold some blimmin' hope with humanity and the male sex class that some will, even if a small amount, will still be sickened in a level of disgust by it. I'll just hold that caveat.
Well, there will be some things that disgust some blokes, but then there's other things when they're like, well, I wouldn't mind if that was more accessible, if prostitutes were more accessible, perhaps, or, things that they themselves aren't disgusted by. They might be disgusted by bestiality, but, you know, prostitutes with actual human women, they might think, well, why not? You know, and not think about all the intricacies of such a thing. You know, they're all paths, mate.
You're saying one way or the other, the majority of adult males, there is something there that they support to the detriment of women. Okay, got it in a nutshell, to encapsulate that. So yeah, I think there might be some thought. My view is to have a jitsi about it. I think we should be able to speak freely without the sense of being recorded and all the rest of it, because it just gets really boring and stuff like that. But that's my views. Other people might have different views, blah blah blah, etc. And I was just about to introduce another tweet that I've seen a lot of in my timeline. Just to mull it over, it's somebody who's talking about male. I don't know how to put it. If I say a few words, maybe somebody can sort of remember it. Somebody called Phil Mitchell is tweeting about abuse of males, etc. And I've seen several of them out of kind of like nowhere in the last 3 or 4 days, and I've wondered if anybody else has seen this Phil Mitchell tweets, you know, that shows abuse of males and by females and things like that, and males being forced to be intimate when they don't want to, etc. I'll see if I can find something on that. Cape, please speak. Thank you.
Hey, I'm not sure why I wasn't following you, Jane, because I've been in spaces with you before. What's jitsu? Is it jitsu that you're mentioning? Is it something?
Sorry, I think it's called jitsi. I just call it jujitsu because I'm bloody lazy and I do things by association. It's some sort of free, kind of like a conferencing piece of software. I don't use WhatsApp. I don't use lots of things intentionally. I know working in technology does it, but it's where people can speak off of Twit. And speak there, and you can just paste a link into somebody's chat on Twitter, and you don't need to put your name in or email or any identifiable information, and it allows you to speak well and freely without, we know, what's this thing called? Twitter generally records everything as a system records and keeps it for a number of days, and then we've got people who decide to record conversations like we're having now, etc., and edit them. Not only do they take that personal identifiable information, but they also paste what we're saying right now onto YouTube.
Can you sign me up for it? Because I'm really keen. I wanted to say something else about the us tweeting. You know,
sorry, about what? About? I didn't hear that.
More about sort of all of us women tweeting so much. I think a lot of it is because of a sense of, you know, if I mention to say Dennis Kavanaugh, what's happening about this, and he'll say, "Don't worry, we're looking at that." I think thousands of us want to be having a sense that we are organized and organizing globally, and we don't have that. And so a lot of us are kind of on, you know, doom retweeting. And wasting our energy, as Jasmine and you have both said. But I'm very keen to organize and and be effective. Yeah. So I will. I'm gonna put notifications on for you as well, and look up the jitsu thingamabobs. Okay. Thanks, because I made a stupid mistake the other day and said something about some organizing in a recorded space, and I've now found out that's on YouTube, which is a bit fucking upsetting. So I need to get more security conscious for sure.
Ask the person that recorded it to remove it or clip out that piece.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that, Jasmine. Thanks. Yeah, because it's quite important. It could derail something we're trying to do. That's, you know, in the system, if you know what I mean. But yeah, thank you. I might do that.
It's always worth asking really. Well, I guess they feel they're entitled to transfer identifiable data from this platform to various other platforms, etc. So hence for what appears to be the lack of presence. It's not that I've been lack of presence in making spaces. I've just chosen very carefully to have them so somewhere else, and so far the content of those sessions hasn't been reproduced somewhere else. Really. Oh, by the way, for anybody who thought I was the one of these kind of like recorder people, so it's crystal clear. I'm not. I don't have the time to be quite honest with you, and I find the whole thing seriously creepy. And I get that not only men can be creepy, but women can be creepy as well.